Okay, so good morning. We are so glad you were able to pull together so many members of your Lighthouse team to spend time with us this morning. We are so excited to finally be here at your school. We have been preparing and learning about your school over the last little bit here, and today is our day to get to know you, to get to know your journey, and to celebrate all that you've done within the Leader and Me. So we couldn't be happier to be here. I'm going to introduce myself and my colleague here shortly, and we're going to take some time first to go over what the Lighthouse Review is all about, how this process works, and what expectations you should have of our day today. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the process after that, and then we'd like to hear from you and get to know who's at the table and then start to learn about our reviews. So let me introduce myself first. Now that you know a little bit about who we are, the Lighthouse Review process is meant to be a celebration of your journey through the Leader and Me. You started this process with great goals of transforming your school culture and impacting the lives of kids. And this is a time for us to learn as much as we can about your school and celebrate that work. We do that in a number of ways. First off, I want to take a minute to thank whoever it is at this table who worked hard on your evidence binder and supplying that story of your journey there for us. I know that's a lot of work, and sometimes there are technological challenges with that, so I do appreciate your work in providing that for us, because it gives us a chance before we get here to get to know your school. To see the pictures and the documents of your story is a great starting point for us to learn. But we also know that we cannot encapsulate everything about a school in digital images and two-dimensional pictures. That's just the beginning. So that's why we take the time to come and visit, why we send two Franklin Covey coaches or consultants out to learn about your school, because there's so much more to a school than what you can put in an evidence binder. Our goal today is to be a sponge, to collect everything we can, to soak up everything we can about your school. We do that through interviews with you, with students, with parents, observing classes, looking at leadership notebooks, talking to school leaders. And so at the end of this day, our goal is to come as close as we can to understanding your school. We know that we will probably fall short. There's so much more than we'll get in this day, but we do make it a real effort to get to every classroom, to meet as many students and members of your community as possible. At the end of the day today, we will huddle up, my colleague and I, and pull together some initial feedback for you. The goal of that time is just not to scurry away without giving you any ideas of the responses and observations we made. So that time is just an initial blush of our first impressions, and please take it just as that. Our goal in that time is we will give you some pluses and deltas. We will use the Leader and Me framework and give you 2 pluses and a delta in each of the 3 columns, leadership, culture, and academics, as our initial thoughts. But our work is far from done then. We leave and we begin to work on a report. That report is something that we submit to the executive team, to Sean Covey and the executive team in Salt Lake City. They are the ones that make the final decision about Lighthouse, and you should expect to hear within 2 to 4 weeks about that response. It will come in an email to your principal. And so that's the timeline you should look for and what you should expect moving forward from here. When a school receives the Lighthouse certification, it is a 2-year designation, and we have what we call a virtual recertification process every 2 years. And as soon as a school achieves Lighthouse, the recertification binder is activated on the Leader and Me Online. And that 2-year process is a reflection on the deltas and pluses from the report, as well as progress that the school has made over the next 2 years in working towards those deltas and other focus areas that you and your Lighthouse team have decided on. And then every 4 years, there is an on-site visit. And that on-site visit will be very similar to this one, in which the reviewers will look at your report and look to see growth that's achieved since Lighthouse certification. So, and all that will take place in our 3.0 framework moving forward. So that's the beginning, and that's what we're trying to achieve today. So let's get started. We want to get to know you and get to know your school. So we're going to begin just going around the table and learning who you are. And if you could just introduce yourselves, talk about what you do here at the school, how long you've been at the school, and if you have a particular role on this Lighthouse team, that will be helpful for us to know as well. And just before we get started, I remind you that we'll be working, my partner and I here have divided up our duties. She's going to be focused today on taking notes in this session, and I'm going to be focused on asking questions. And obviously, feel free to jump into questions as well as we go forward. So let's start here with introductions. Thank you.